In this lecture, we're going to build out our headliners section. So first of all, let's add our headliners text. So we'll have a paragraph text and some sort of heading element as well. So let's go ahead and start building that out then. Back in our code, if we scroll all the way down, underneath our header section then, let's go ahead and add a new div. And we want to centrally align this div on the screen. So we can see we have a max width for all of our remaining content after our header section. So we want to have a max width and we want to make sure we centrally align our content. So to do that, let's go back to our code and let's add a class to this div. And we want to add a max width. So we can do that with max W and we can go screen large. So this will give a max width of 1024 pixels. Then all we need to do is give a margin on the left and right of auto. So then let's also give a margin top of 20, just so we've got some noticeable spacing between our header and our content. So then let's go ahead and add an H2 here. And within the H2, this is going to be our heading, obviously. So we're going to add headliners in for that H2. Then for the paragraph tag, I'm just going to copy it from the completed project, our paragraph text. So I'm going to paste it in for that paragraph tag. And let's save this now and take a look in our project. Let's give it a refresh in the browser and we can see that our headliners, even though it's an H2, the text size is exactly the same as our paragraph text. Now, I did briefly mention this at the start of the course, and this is because Tailwind CSS has a bunch of reset CSS for us. So it makes sure that every single element is not being influenced by any browser styling. So it's going to be consistent across every single browser. But that also means we need to make sure we add these styles back in for each of our headings, because we want to make sure each of our headings from H1 to H6 has a different font size compared to the rest of our text within our site. So to do that, we could easily add, if we go back to our code, we could easily add for our H2, we could add some class names and add a text of, for example, 5XL. So this will give a font size of 48 pixels. However, if we have a bunch of H tags and heading tags on our site, and we have to add all these different font sizes for each of our heading tags throughout our site manually, then it's going to be a massive pain. It would be so much more efficient if we could just specify in one place a consistent font size for all of our headings. So for example, our H1 tags might have a text of 6XL, our H2 a text of 5XL, H3 a text of 4XL, etc., etc. So instead of having to remember that our H1s are going to have a text of 6XL and then having to specify it for every single heading 1 tag, it's going to be so much more efficient if we specify all of this in one place. So let's get rid of this class name then, and let's head back to our input.css. And for our base layer, this is the perfect place to add our default styles for our heading tags. So we've already got our default style for our HTML tag, where we're specifying the font family as our custom Google font. So this is also the perfect place to add our styles for our heading tags. So for our H1 tag, I'm going to go ahead and apply a text 6XL, and I'm going to go down for each of our heading classes then. So we've got H1 here, we want H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. So let's go ahead and update these then. So H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. So then H1 is 6XL. So let's decrease these sizes then. So let's go down to 5XL, 4XL, 3, 2, and then we just have text XL for the H6. So let's save this now and take a look in the browser. Let's give it a refresh. And there we go. Our headliners has a nice large text size for that H2. And I'm also going to go ahead and apply for each of these heading tags. I want to make sure that they have a bold font. So I'm going to create a multiple cursor here, and I'm just going to add as well font bold. So let's save this and take a look at the browser now. Let's give it a refresh. And there we go. We're not explicitly specifying class names for the styling and the font size for our headers now, because these are all specified in our base layer within Tailwind CSS. So in the next lecture then, we're going to go ahead and start working on our carousel for our headliners.